Hello everyone and welcome to Igor's Japanese Language Dojo, the BLITZ series in which I cover a single unit of Japanese grammar in record time. Today I will be showing you how to express that you have done something without doing something in the first place by using zu ni, or the suffix that is essentially equal to the English without doing something. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, what do we need to know about Zuni before we dive in deeper? Well, like all of the suffixes in the Japanese language, it requires a stem to function properly, and for Zuni, that is the irrealis stem, or known more popularly under the name of nai stem, which basically means that you need to know how to form negatives out of verbs. The second thing is that Zuni is roughly equivalent to the English without doing something. And the final characteristic worthy of note before we go with the examples is that the irregular verb suru becomes sezu ni when you want to use this suffix. Now all of these three most important characteristics of zu ni you will see reflected in our examples in the next video section. So for now on, just to repeat, when you are attaching zu ni, you need to use the irrealis stem. Then the zu ni suffix is equivalent to the English without doing something, and when you are using this suffix, the irregular verb suru becomes sezu ni. Now, how should you use zu ni in your sentences? Well, our first example tells you basically all that you need to know about the usage of zu ni, and it goes as follows. Yasumazu ni zenbu no shigoto o oemashita. I finished all of the work without resting. Now, I will dissect this example completely so that we can lay the basic groundwork for analyzing and understanding all of the examples after it. As you can see, our sentence has been split into two clauses, into clause A and clause B, with zu ni acting as a conjunction. And if you look even more closely at the sentence, you can see that in both clauses there is a verb, and the verb in the first clause will be, let's say, referred to as the action A, while the verb in the second clause will be referred to as action B, meaning that yasumu here is the process of resting, and that is action A, while the process of finishing all of the work has been conveyed in the sentence by the verb oeru, and it is action B. So, if you look at this sentence in that manner of action A, zu ni, action B, you can summarize that zu ni is essentially negating the action A in favor of action B, saying that action B has been performed without performing action A. And that's basically it. You're saying that action A has not been performed, it has not been taken into consideration, it has been left out so that action B could be performed. And if we want to apply that to our sentence here, we are saying that we have not rested, we have not taken a break on our job, and that is action A. So once again, action A is nullified, but the action B has been achieved, and we have finished all of the work without doing action A. So once again, that is the way I recommend you to remember zu ni, by splitting your sentence into an action A and action B, where you always need to keep in mind that action A to which zu ni is attached is always negated in the favor of action B. Now, our second example illustrates this further, and it goes as follows. Bangohan no tabezu ni nemashita. I went to bed without eating dinner. So once again, action A, bangohan no taberu, has been negated with zu ni so that the action B, neru, could be achieved. Now our third example is a bit more complicated, but the essence is still the same. Kyoshi to soudan sezu ni Nihongo de kakareta hon ga yomemashita. I read the book written in Japanese without consulting my teacher. So once again, here zu ni is nullifying, it is negating the action A, and that is the process of consulting your teacher, while allowing the action B, and that is the process of reading the book written in Japanese, to be performed without any hindrance. And this we can see also in our final example. 自分の緊張は気にせずに会議で皆様に演説しました. I addressed everyone at the meeting without worrying about my own nervousness, and this example probably shows the purest form of zuni because we are saying basically that we have disregarded, that we have forgotten, at least temporarily, or that we have suppressed our own nervousness in favor of addressing everyone at the meeting. So once again, action A has been muted, restricted, negated, however you like it, in favor of action B. So to summarize, you should always remember Zuni as that, a linkage between two actions where the action A or the first action is always being suppressed in favor of action B or the second action. And now is the time to deal the finishing blow to our lesson today, or to be more precise, to the Zuni suffix. We have learned that Zuni is equivalent to the English without doing something, that it is always attached to the irrealis stem, or known more popularly under the name of the nai stem, and that it basically means that a certain action or the action B has been achieved without performing a certain other action or action A, if you would like to follow the pattern that I have set throughout our examples. Another thing worth remembering about Zu is that it is practically the more archaic form of Nai, and this can be proved to be especially useful if you are struggling to remember that it is always attached to the irrealis stem. And the final piece of information is that the suffix Zu is considered to be more formal as well as too rigid for daily conversation, and is often used by the older people in Japan, but still very frequent in written Japanese. And that is all. Otsukare-sama deshita, my dear Shokun, and thank you for watching this episode of my BLITZ series that is concerned with all the peculiarities that you might find while using zu ni, and in which I have tried to make this suffix as easy as possible to remember and use. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the dojo next time. Sayonara!